Welcome to Moviecaps. Today, I will show you a neo-noir mystery thriller from 2000, titled Memento, directed by Christopher Nolan. Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. Before we begin, let me just say that the film is a bit confusing, as shots of the past and present are jumbled together. For clarity, I'm going to describe it in chronological order. The narrative begins in black and white. Leonard Shelby wakes up in a discounted room, unsure of why he is there. The phone rings, he answers the phone, and chats with an unknown caller. He explains to the caller that he has anterograde amnesia, which prevents him from making new memories. He discusses the ailment by recounting the story of Sammy Jankees, who suffered from the same issue. Leonard explains how to cope with challenges, by having a system of notes, and the motivation to apply them. He claims to have the desire that Sammy lacked, and the audience can see his tattoo, which reads John G. Raped and murdered my wife, as well as other clues and notes. He continues the narrative, by explaining that when he met Sammy, he had just started working as an insurance investigator, and was tasked with determining if his ailment was covered by his policy. Sammy's situation was unique, in that he was unable to learn through conditioning, unlike previous cases of anterograde amnesia. After more testing, Leonard claims he came to the conclusion that Sammy's ailment was psychological. Mrs. Jankees met with Leonard personally, according to him. He tried to comfort her, by telling her that Sammy should be able to establish new memories. She put Sammy's memory to the test, by asking him to administer her insulin shots several times. She fell into a coma, and died as a result of the overdose. After that, Sammy was sent to a mental facility. The caller and Leonard discuss Leonard's search, and how the police did not accept the tale of the second attacker, throughout this chat. The caller introduces himself as a cop, and offers Leonard further information on his search. The information, that the second assailant was a drug dealer, is tattooed on Leonard's body. The caller names the second assailant as Jimmy Grants, and informs Leonard that he has scheduled a meeting with him. Leonard accepts the caller's request to meet at the hotel lobby. Leonard approaches a man in the foyer, and asks whether he is Officer Gamble. Since he is undercover, the guy requests that Leonard call him Teddy. Teddy sends Leonard directions to the meeting spot, and Leonard meets Jimmy outside of town, in an abandoned structure. When Jimmy Grants comes, he recognizes Leonard as the man with the memory problem, and demands to know what Leonard is doing there, as well as where Teddy is. Jimmy is threatened with a tire iron, and told to undress. Jimmy begs Leonard for his life, telling him that he has $200,000 in the trunk of his car, to pay for the narcotics Teddy was supposed to bring to the rendezvous. Leonard strangles Jimmy, then takes a Polaroid snapshot of his body, and begins dressing him. The film progressively transitions from black and white to color, as the snapshot of Jimmy's body develops. The rest of the narrative is in color, although it is told in reverse order in the film. Before dying, Leonard hears Jimmy mumble Sammy, as he takes him down the basement. If Jimmy was aware of Sammy, Leonard concludes that he was not the second attacker. Teddy comes on the scene, and attempts to persuade Leonard, that Jimmy is the person he is looking for. Leonard is not convinced. Teddy ultimately concedes that Jimmy Grants was a heroin dealer, who had nothing to do with the assassination of his wife. Teddy then informs Leonard, that his wife has survived the assassination attempt. Teddy claims that Sammy Jankees was a con artist, who was not even married, and that Leonard's wife was diabetic. Teddy claims to be the cop that probed the murder of his wife. He claims to have believed him about the second assailant, and assisted him in tracking down and killing the actual John G., over a year ago. Teddy adds that when the second attacker was killed, he snapped a photo of a joyful Leonard. Leonard had forgotten about the murder, and had started looking for John G. Teddy informs Leonard, that there are plenty more John G's to be found, and he reveals that he too, is a John G. His full name is John Edward Gamble, but his mother refers to him as Teddy. Leonard resolves to resume the quest, before he can forget Teddy's admissions, lying to himself to set himself up to kill Teddy. He writes "Don't trust his lies" on Teddy's photo, registers Teddy's license plate number as John G's, and reminds himself to acquire a tattoo of the plate number, SG-137U. Teddy's vehicle keys are thrown into some weeds, and Leonard abandons him. Leonard then drives away in Jimmy's Jaguar, still wearing Jimmy's clothing, after leaving his pickup truck at the refinery. After forgetting Teddy's revelations, and the lies to himself, Leonard finds a tattoo parlor and has the license plate number tattooed onto his leg. Teddy notices the Jaguar parked outside, and enters, attempting to relocate the car, and get Leonard to change his clothing before leaving town. When Leonard notices the letter on the back of Teddy's photographs, he chooses to depart without him. Jimmy's suit coat pocket contains a message, which Leonard discovers. The message is from Natalie, and it instructs Jimmy to visit Ferdy's tavern. Leonard assumes the message is for him, despite the fact that he is dressed in Jimmy's clothing and driving Jimmy's automobile. He goes to meet her, and informs her of his predicament. After a test, Natalie trusts his story. Natalie brings Leonard to her house, and informs him that he is welcome to stay. Leonard describes the attack as he recalls it. He claims he was awakened by noises, went to get a rifle, and discovered his wife being strangled. A second invader clubbed Leonard with a branch, and smashed his head into a mirror, after Leonard shot one of the intruders. He goes on to say that the officers were not convinced that there was a second assailant. Leonard informs Natalie that the second assailant was too cunning, and hid the evidence, to make it appear as though there was just one invader. Natalie dupes Leonard into pursuing Dodd, a man she believes has been bothering her for money, from Jimmy's previous drug sales. Leonard goes off in search of Dodd. As he exits Natalie's house, Teddy is waiting for him. Teddy tries to warn Leonard about Natalie, but Leonard does not trust him, after reading the "Don't Believe His Lies" message on Teddy's photo. Leonard decides he doesn't want to stay with Natalie, and goes to the discount inn on Teddy's recommendation. Despite the fact that Leonard has already paid for a room, the front desk clerk, Bert, takes advantage of his condition, by renting him a second room. Leonard engages in the services of an escort agency. When the escort comes, Leonard tells her that he merely wants to re-experience going to sleep, just like the night of the attack. The escort wakes him up after he falls asleep. Leonard motions for the escort to depart. He then takes his wife's personal stuff to a reservoir, and burns them. Leonard exits the reservoir in the morning, and is seen by Dodd. Dodd chases after him with a gun, but Leonard manages to elude Dodd, and travels to his hotel to await his arrival. Leonard once again forgets, and goes in to take a shower. While he is in the shower, he hears someone entering the bathroom. It's Dodd. Dodd pulls away the shower curtain, and Leonard attacks him, and knocks him unconscious. After tying him up, he calls Teddy to the hotel room. After he is set free, Dodd is persuaded to leave town by Leonard and Teddy. Leonard spends the night at Natalie's, as a thank you for helping him get rid of Dodd. In the morning, she agrees to trace the license plate number tattooed on Leonard's leg. Leonard goes to a diner, and he doesn't remember who he is there to meet. As he is walking by the table, Natalie pulls him, and asks him to sit on the table. He starts to apologize for his condition, but Natalie cuts him off, and tells him that he has already told her about his illness. While they sit there, Natalie asks him if he wants the information. He says that he does, as his wife deserves revenge. Natalie says that he won't even remember what he did, but he says that he just wants the information. Natalie asks him to tell her about his wife, as he loves remembering her. He starts recalling bits and pieces about his past life, and says that all these moments just kind of add up to give the feel of a person, which is enough to tell him that he misses his wife, and hates the person who took her away. Natalie also gives him instructions to an abandoned spot outside of town, where a person she knows used to make bigger deals. Natalie tells him that it is abandoned, referring that he can use that place to kill his wife's murderer. Just before she gets up, she tells him that they have one thing in common, and that is that both of them are survivors. Leonard returns to his hotel with it. He puts the evidence together, and decides that Teddy is John Edward Gamble, the second attacker. He summons Teddy, and the two of them travel to the same abandoned structure, where Jimmy Grants was murdered just a few days before. When he goes there, he once again looks at the pictures, and on Teddy's picture, it is written, "Don't believe him, he is the one, kill him." Teddy comes in, and asks Leonard if he has found something, and asks Leonard to go. He sees that Leonard isn't replying, and has a gun in his hands, so he starts to walk out of the house. Leonard suddenly turns, and hits him on the head with the butt of the gun. When Teddy is on the ground, Leonard puts the pistol to Teddy's face, and tells him that he should beg for his wife's forgiveness before he kills him. Teddy mockingly tells Leonard that he doesn't know who he is, and that he just read his name from the back of a picture. Leonard responds that he knows who he is, to which Teddy replies that they should go to the basement. But at that instant, Leonard shoots him in the head. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this.